Good evening and welcome back to our second installment of TTS League and following the journey of Lou the Lunatic. Today I am joined by my good friend and other lovable misfit, Dan. How are you doing tonight, Dan?
I'm doing fantastic.
That's
Very
great.
excited to see this game.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Like both of these players are 3 and 0, so there is a lot on the line as they're progressing forward in their journey for to achieve the unachievable, the unbeaten run, and getting to the final cuts. for excuse me, technical issue with my throat there. For people who have no experience with the TTS League, you are paired up against everybody else in the entire bracket. You get 6 opponents throughout, and each week you'll be paired against someone. First round is random, and then everything else is Swiss pairing. The players who can go 6 and 0, or in some cases 5 and 1, make it through to the next cut, where it then becomes a knockout round until eventually we have a winner. So here, I think we're playing in the central bracket. So these guys are playing, or Luke is playing at 9 p.m., but I think Blair is playing at 8 p.m., which is obviously great for my schedule. Um, and yeah, so let's talk about the rosters. Dan, we've got Weapon X, and I think we've got, who do we have on the opposite side here? We have Spider Foes. Awesome. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on Weapon X and Spider Foes.
Well, I'm looking at your Weapon X team over here, and it's interesting because he definitely has the ability to go criminals as well with Kingpin in the lead. You know me, I'm a big Kingpin fan, so that's very interesting. I, yeah, I really like his list. It's interesting. It can go both ways. It can be very killy with Weapon X, or it can be more control focused with Kingpin. And either way, I think he's going to have a good game.
Yeah,
Now, I
you
can't
are
see this.
Kingpin is your handle in our Discord. So if that gives you any indication on just how popular Kingpin is for you, yeah, and that's an interesting control piece. And like you're right, it gives him a nice little flex direction in case he decides he wants to try something different, or if the map gives him that option. I'm just going to turn on stream review right now so we can view that a little bit more. And then looking across the table at Blair, uh, we have Spider Foes. He's the only leader we've got on this side of the board is Green Goblin, but we are accompanied by Heimdall, Hawkeye, Doc Ock, Bullseye, Venom Rhino, Mysterio, Lizard, and Craven. I know you have a little bit of experience with Craven, but on that roster, not a whole lot that stands out as wild.
No, that seems like a pretty standard syndicate or sorry, Spider Foes list. Maybe Heimdall is a little bit odd there, but everybody else seems pretty reasonable. Now they have rolled for initiative, and Lou the Lunatic has chosen his extractions. And he got Paranoia Pummels Populace, while Blair got intrusions open across city as seals collapse.
Hmm.
So it'll either be a 16 or a 19-point game.
This is going to be quite a brawl fest right here. Everything along the central. Um, Now, for experienced players, they'll know that intrusions has actually changed a little bit. It's still a 19 threat. You still can teleport. You can still drop objectives, but you no longer take the damage as you go through. So as long as you've got the power, you can bounce around the map at will.
Indeed. Now, with Paranoia Pummels, you can only hold one at a time. And oh, as far as Lou's team goes, I want to say he's going to go Weapon X here. I don't think this is a great matchup for the criminal syndicates, or at least it's not as good. They're going to be right in your face. As you said, everything is right down the center line. I think this is going to be a bit of a bloodbath, and I want Wolverine if I'm going to a bloodbath.
I'm a little biased. I do have a good couple of reps under my belt with Weapon X, and I'd agree. I think this is a perfect map for Logan, because he's always going to get the double attack activations across the turns. He's always going to be able to be in range, regardless of how much power he has to spend to get there.
Right. Now, they've closed off their roster, so we can't see what they're choosing. But if I remember correctly, Blair only had Green Goblin as a leader, correct? He's got no ability to move off that?
That is correct. He'll be playing Green Goblin. He'll be playing Spider Foes. No wiggle room.
No wiggle room. How do you feel about that? I personally like to have a second leader just in case.
Um, I don't know. I don't really know. I think that in some cases it works just fine. I think that there are other cases where it really just pays to have have your solo leader and just kind of build your pocket picks, basically your splash characters that are perfect for a certain scenario in a certain matchup or on a certain secure slash extract. I also might be
Fair
the
enough.
wrong person to ask. I'm a Guardians player. I only like playing one leader.
Very true. And you do it very well.
Okay, so now that we've had a chance to kind of see the rosters, Dan, would you pick 16 or 19? Where do you think? Where would you lie?
Assuming I am Lou the Lunatic?
Mm-hmm. Or either or.
Either or. Spider foes. With lists like this, neither one of them have, from memory, really big threats in their list. So I kind of like to go. It sounds weird, but I like to go with a larger number when I'm dealing with littler people. If I've got, say, Malekith and Hulk, like 16 is the absolute sweet spot. I don't want to play a 20. But with little characters like this, a 20 means another character or two to play in the game, and that can be a big swing. How
Luke,
about you?
Luke does have Hulk, which he did break out at our last game, and with Weapon X, you've got a core of about 10.
Okay.
So if he goes 16, you're just going to be playing his core of 3 plus Hulk. If he goes 19, it can be he can throw it like you said, an extra character in there. I don't think that there is necessarily a right choice, but I think Hulk can be played if Hulk gets played in this matchup, just because it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. I think either one is going to be. I would probably lean more towards 19 to give me more options to deal with the Hulk.
That's a good point. It is going to be Blair who gets to choose how many points it's going to be. And if I'm Blair, I see a Hulk across the table, I probably am going more points. It's more likely Hulk's going to be on the table, but I've got more things to focus fire onto him.
Absolutely. Protecting Green Goblin is going to be essential here, making sure he's got that incinerate down, getting those status conditions out on the team to basically just kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Damage amplification. There we go.
Yeah, very important.
Well, actually, while the rosters are being picked and we're still waiting for turn 0 to start, I would like to take a moment to talk about Dan and your YouTube channel. Dan here has a YouTube channel by the name of The Mongoolie Show, and it is a place where Dan basically gets to talk about all things nerdy that he enjoys, including movies, games. Currently, he's been focusing a lot on Marvel Snap, Marvel Strike Force. He's also been doing movie reviews, and he will be doing a movie review for Ant-Man, which is coming out on the video should be coming out on Friday. Is that right, Dan?
That's correct. I'm going to go see the movie Thursday, opening night, with my buddy Adam. We've reviewed a couple of movies before, and this is going to be a big one, I'm hoping. Getting it out as soon as humanly possible so that people can check that out before the weekend.
Awesome. And if you like that kind of content, check it out. The link is in the description below. Give it a check out. There is going to be a video with yours truly coming up as we discuss everything Phase 4 before Ant-Man kickstarts Phase 5. That should be coming out sometime soon. So drop him a like, drop him a comment. It helps out a lot.
Thank you so much.
Oh, always welcome. Look, it was a perfectly timed plug as the rosters are being loaded up. So Lou has picked 5 characters. He does have Hulk in there, so it does look like we are in fact going the 19 route. So we've got Logan, Apex, X-23, Honey Badger, and Hulk, which puts us at a solid 19. Sorry, math is hard.
Now, you've played X-Force more than I have. Sorry, Weapon X more than I have. Do you go X-23 as the leader or Logan as the leader?
I always go X-23 as the leader.
Fair enough. Across the table, we have, of course, Green Goblin, Doctor Octopus, Mysterio, Venom, Lizard, and it looks, yeah, that's Bullseye's card's a little messed up on my screen, but that
Mine
is
too.
definitely the best 2 threat there.
Yeah, he's gone for a nice wide roster. Um, yeah, Spider Foes doesn't have a stock 2 threat, so going a little wider with the 3s, being able to include Bullseye, he's going to be going for a lot of chip damage. There's a lot of movement tricks in here as well. Spider Foes, Spider Foes have some tools to be able to play this game.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that he's going to be doing very okay. His Venom can heal up nicely. The Lizard can heal up nicely. Bullseye with his guaranteed damage getting through. Green Goblin being able to choose what kind of damage output he wants to do. I think there's going to be a lot of chip damage on his side. Unfortunately, on the Weapon X side, you've got a lot of characters who can heal. In fact, everybody with Hulk can heal, I believe, right?
Yep, everybody has healing factor. Honey Badger's the only one. Honey Badger and Apex Predator Sabretooth have healing factor 1. X-23 and Logan will have healing factor 2.
So that's very interesting with somebody trying to do a lot of chip damage, how that will work with a team that can just heal chip damage pretty easily. We got an X-23 on the board over on the, well, I don't want to say right side, I guess, depends on where you're looking at it. And right across from them, Blair has put out his Venom sitting on top of that dump truck.
I do want
Honey
to
Badger, of course, standing right beside X-23, right where she likes to be.
absolutely, and I actually kind of want to touch on the chip damage for a quick second. This mission in particular will actually help with the chip damage because both of these, or sorry, up until recently, intrusions was causing damage as well. But paranoia, when you pick up a disturbance, you will take a damage as well. So that doesn't necessarily bother the Weapon X characters, but as the game goes on, sometimes those little extra points of damage can counteract the chip damage. So, for example, if a character is left with 1 health remaining, they don't have the option of going and picking up that disturbance because it's going to put them over the edge. So, I think it might be of some importance in this matchup, but we'll see.
That's totally fair. If you can just give me a second, I am just grabbing these cards that I've got access to them.
No, not a problem.
Trying to go as quickly as I can.
While you're doing that, I will touch base on the team tactics cards that have been chosen. So Blair, our Spider-Foes player, has gone with well-laid plans, sacrifice, lethal protector, warpath, and indomitable. So indomitable, fantastic into the Hulk matchup. Sacrifice is perfect for keeping someone alive a little bit longer. Same with lethal protector. It's gone for very defensive cards, and then has Warpath in there. I'm interested to see on whom Warpath gets played.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I don't dislike it, though.
And then going over to lose cards, we have Dossier, no matter the cost. Are you sure you want to remember the affiliation card? Exceptional healing and sacrifice. Pretty bog standard. Very similar to what he was playing last time. I think the only new card that's in here is Sacrifice. I can't remember what he played. I think he played Gamma Launch last time. So Sacrifice is in, Gamma Launch is out. And I asked Greg the same question. So Dan, I'm going to pitch this to you. How do you feel about the Dossier?
I have only played with it one time, but I have played against it a couple of times. I've heard people call it a trap. I don't think that it is. I think it's actually pretty strong. I think the trap, and I might be stealing this from you if I'm perfectly honest, I think the trap is only using the character who gets the benefit from it to go after it. I think every character... I don't think you want to make it your game plan to attack the person with the dossier, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt and it does benefit almost everybody to get it. So I don't know that it's a bad card to bring. I think it's maybe not an auto include, but maybe the next best thing.
I'd agree with everything. It sounds like you've been talking to me because that's pretty much my opinion on the card.
That never happens. We don't communicate.
I think the dossier is a great card. I think as players are getting more familiar with playing against Weapon X, there are some really good ways to counter the dossier. Some of my personal favorites are actually Angela. Angela's great because you can't modify your dice against Angela, so whoever is attacking, whoever played the dossier gets no benefit of attacking that, so it can kind of counteract the benefit of trying to attack the character. And I was introduced to the idea of Ant-Man and Wasp being perfect counters. Deploy Ant-Man or Wasp on your back line, give them the dossier, transform first action, you drop it in your back corner. You basically say, cool, if you want it, come get it, but you're effectively neutering the debuff.
I think that's just fantastic because, yeah, your opponent's going to spend an entire turn just going and getting that dossier. So even if they get it after that, you've really hurt them in the long term when you only get 6 turns in a game. But also, Ant-Man specifically is so incredibly mobile that having him back that one range 3 really isn't going to change what he wants to do unless maybe you're playing Gamma. But other than that, he can get almost anywhere he wants to be while also hurting your opponent, and that's just fun.
Anytime you can hurt on the run, it's very enjoyable. So we have. Oh, do you? So it looks like we have declared our leader and the dossier holder.
Yes.
Yeah, X23 looks to be the holding the affiliation card, and I
Yep.
think Apex Predator has actually played the dossier. Interesting.
That's what it that's what it looks like. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see which one of the villains he's chosen to hold the dossier.
It looked like Blair was trying to put it on Venom,
Okay, that's
which
not a bad choice. Venom is incredibly tanky. He can heal himself nicely. I don't hate that.
I out of the the characters that are on the board, I would have chosen either Lizard or Venom. Uh, both characters are relatively tanky. They've got decently high physical defense. Lizard comes with his own healing factor as well as damage reduction. Venom comes with his own built-in healing in the form of doing damage, or with We Are Venom, sorry, the attack, which I'll bring up on screen for you. We Are Venom costs 3 power to use, and after this attack is resolved, this character removes 1 damage from itself for each damage inflicted. So either one of those was going to be a good choice, and Venom is more than ready to hold on to that.
Yes. We got a Logan moving up the battlefield. He looks like he's placed within one of both the Disturbance and the Dark Portal. He will pick up the Disturbance, which will give him a damage, but of course, he's got healing factor, so we'll see if he even bothers to hurt himself or if he's just going to call it.
Nope, looks like a pretty standard move. Disturbance. This mission is really good for Weapon X, being able to just pick up the disturbance, no problem. The real question will come from if Lou decides he's going to move someone to support Logan or a different disturbance to get that extra victory point.
I think you kind of want to leave Logan a little bit alone, to be perfectly honest. He's just such a ridiculous threat on the board. It is unfortunate that the Mysterio's over there. Mysterio's only got a slow move and will probably just get annihilated by Logan if they get into a fight. But, of course, that's not what Mysterio wants to be doing anyways, so. Lizard is moving up and doing pretty much the exact same thing. I have a giant gray spot in the middle of my board. But yeah, he's within one of the portal and he was able to pick up. He will take the damage, but he also has healing factor, so he's okay too.
Yep, nice safe play coming out of both players to start the game. Lizard probably in the less safe position, being in the center of the board opposite a Hulk, but it's the safest character to do that turn 1 play.
Absolutely. As you said, with the damage reduction and the healing factor, he can take a hit and he should be okay. Obviously, it's a dice game. Dice are going to dice, but it's the best option he's got.
I guess we didn't have a chance to go over terrain either. We've got some size 2, size 1, and a size 3 in the middle. So a nice spread. There's only a single size 4 on the board, and it's sitting in Blair's deployment zone. So probably not going to be coming up.
Now, just out of curiosity, this is not a legal placement of this model, is it? I mean, he's entirely on, but he's very angled.
Sabretooth? Yes, that's perfectly legal. As long as the base isn't overhanging, as long as the base isn't overhanging, it's a perfectly legal placement.
I thought the model had to be sturdy. Like it had to be
Nope.
not
So
wobbly.
so the game itself, the rules of the game itself don't actually abide by the 3 dimensions. It's actually technically all on a level playing field. The only thing about terrain is that it's assigned a number, which is the size of the terrain, and then every character also has their size as well. So imagining that each piece of terrain is just a flat surface, you can put the model where it needs to be, as long as the base doesn't overhang.
Fair enough.
So
I'm
while
not
it
really sure what is going on here. Sabretooth does have a range 3 attack, but he has to spend 2 energy for it, which he doesn't have yet.
yes, but
So we're going to see a second movement.
he does have no matter the cost.
Oh, that is a good call.
So no matter the cost is a really decent card in this roster because you have the ability to take the damage and heal it back. Uh, benefits Logan, Sabretooth, as well as X-23. But I think we're just going to be going for a second movement.
Yeah, I think that's the better call. It's really early to be playing that card, and I mean, I've seen you do it to great effect with Logan, so maybe that's just my bias there, but I would hold off on doing that. Wait for the Tornado Claw to be able to come into effect.
The Tornado Claw is a good play, especially when someone isn't expecting it, but both Sabretooth and X-23 have movement attached to their spenders. So it can be a really good positional play.
Fair enough.
Just going to pop into the chat real quick. David says math is not hard. Math is absolutely hard. I don't know what you're talking about. And Corey says dice are going to dice, and then there's TTS. we have both
Oh,
we've both been scorned by TTS dice on a couple of occasions.
I'm sure everybody has. There's been those games where you have no reason to lose it other than you just cannot roll a single hit to save your life. Mysterio's going to move twice and not be in range of the Dark Portal, unfortunately. Oh, now he is. It clicked just now. So he is in range, so he's contesting it.
And as we were talking about Sabretooth, he did end up doing a double move, and he actually picked up the other Paran, the other disturbance, so there's only one disturbance left on the board.
And no damage, because everybody has healing factor.
Correct.
Now, do you think that Mysterio play was the right one when there was a disturbance on this side of the board to pick up? I feel like he could have moved that Mysterio later on and had the exact same effect, but been up a disturbance.
I'm leaning towards it was the correct play, just because Venom's double moving. I don't think his base fits on this car, so I don't think he actually has a way of reaching that disturbance. And even if he did, he gets himself into range for Laura to then attack, or even Hulk to come over and do something. And Venom's holding the dossier, so I think he's trying to play a little bit more respectfully with Venom. And not just kind of going all in. And now Venom's seen Laura's move. Venom probably wants to go in.
Which is totally fair, but you do have a medium base, medium move Dr. Octopus not too far away, as well as a medium base, small move, sorry, a small base, medium move Bullseye. One of those should have been able to make it there, I would have thought.
Potentially. I don't think Dr. Octopus could have made it, but there's a world where Bullseye definitely makes it. David says, let's wait for another Hulk throw. Yeah. Well, I guess, as I was saying earlier, we don't have a size 4 piece of terrain on the board, so we're probably not going to see as much carnage as we saw last time.
But I'm sure we will see the Hulk throw some stuff if this game.
Oh, for sure. But again, it's another game where Brace isn't present. Blair did bring Indomitable, which stops his characters from being thrown, but it doesn't stop terrain being thrown at him.
Correct. Looks like Honey Badger is going to move up and follow X-23, as again, they are best friends and want to be close to each other. And I think, as we were saying before, the dossier, Sabretooth is the one that actually played it, but X-23 is probably going to be the one that's going to pick it up if this goes Lunatic's way.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single bad character to pick up the dossier.
No, agreed.
But you're right. The trap is going for the dossier with the character that played the card.
Doesn't seem to be a trap that he's going to fall into, which is good for him.
All right.
We've got Green Goblin moving up. He's sitting on top of that Punisher van. Let's see our first attack of the game.
So it looks like he's absolutely using Oscorp weaponry, which is Green Goblin's affiliation ability that lets him forces an opponent to re-roll a defense dice. So Lou had blocked one, but he was forced to re-roll it. In fact, block nothing and is taking 3 damage. And because Green Goblin rolled a wild, he'll also be taking an incinerate. That is not good round one.
No. And because it was pumpkin bombs, he was able to choose what type of attack it was, and Sabretooth is weaker to energy, so I'm sure it must have been what he did. He only rolled 3 dice. So that was
Absolutely.
a very good turn for Blair. Anytime you can get some damage on your opponents, especially when they can heal up that nicely, it's going to be really good for him.
Absolutely. And it forces an early question onto the player playing Weapon X. Is it worth you dropping a memory token right now to try and prevent some early chip damage? Or do you risk it? And Lou went for the risk. He wouldn't have been able to block the incinerate, but he may have been able to reduce at least one of the damage.
Now, can you talk about the interaction with the memory token versus the Oscorp weaponry? How that works and which one goes first?
The memory token would go first. So the memory token is whenever a Weapon X character is declared a target of an attack, you may choose to spend a memory token, and you may add 2 dice to your defense roll. So had Lou chosen to, he would have declared, once Green Goblin declared Sabretooth as the target of the attack, Lou would have said, I'm going to use a memory token, and instead of rolling the 3 dice, he would have rolled the 5. If he was able to block all of the damage, he would have then been granted a small move towards the attacker. But more often than not, you're not worried about the potential move, you're rolling extra defense dice.
Now this is interesting. He's double moving up with Hulk, but he's going towards the lone Venom, as opposed to going towards the center of the board where we've got potentially more targets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, admittedly, that's also more targets that can shoot at your Hulk. So maybe he's just going for the sure thing, guaranteeing himself the dossier. Do you think that's the right move to get Hulk out of the way and just in a 3-on-1 fight with Venom?
It's a strategy. Uh, I I think it could be a really good way of locking down one side of the board. With intrusions, there's no such thing as overcommitting to a side of the board because you can just take the intrusion, bounce to the other side wherever you're needed. I think what Luke is currently trying to do is throw the building that he's next to at Venom, but he's been a little bit cock blocked by his own X-23.
Which is unfortunate. And I'd forgotten about the Dark Portal, so that is a very good point. His Hulk can get over here, do some serious damage to Venom, and then end up on the other side of the board. That's a scary Hulk that can move that fast.
Yeah. So currently for the play, for just so we're talking about it, whenever you throw a piece of terrain, you have to be able to draw a line. So using this measuring tool to the character you're trying to throw, and it can't cross over any other character. So because X-23 is there, Hulk will be unable to throw that piece of terrain without it hitting X-23 first. So it's likely just an illegal move. I think what Blair is suggesting that is if Hulk was moved slightly to the left, he would have been able to throw the car at Venom. So obviously these guys are in their own Discord channel and they're discussing everything. It's a very amicable game, so most of the time if someone makes a small error, there's usually a lot of lenience and like, okay, yeah, you can go back. This is clearly your intent.
Yeah. Yeah, every time I played a TTS game, whether with a stranger or friends, it's been very, very friendly. Now, I've never played very high in the TTS league. I don't know how it works in the championships, but at this level, I'm sure that there's a little leniency.
Speaking
now,
of...
it's also worth mentioning...
Nope,
sorry.
You first.
It's also worth mentioning because a lot of people tend to ask this question. When you are throwing terrain, you do measure from the character throwing the terrain. But if you throw another character, you do measure from the character being thrown. Pretty simple rule, but you'd be amazed how many times it comes up.
So I think the leniency and the politeness has gone back. So obviously the throw wasn't legal. So the power has been refunded to Hulk. And that was the end of his activation. So Lou is done, but we still have Bullseye and Doc Ock to go on the side of Blair.
That's right. Doc Ock is moving up, and he's getting into... see if he can get into strike range.
Doc Ock does have a range 3 strike, which is obviously going to be hugely beneficial for laying on some attack into an already damaged and incinerated Sabretooth.
Yes, it is a physical, which Sabretooth is stronger to, but with a wild, every one of his hit is going to count as 2. Now, he doesn't have one yet, but he did get one off his critical, so that is what, 5?
That's six
6. That
successes.
is
That's
6 hits
six successes on a
versus 3 blocks.
4 die. Now Lou did use a defensive. He did use the memory token to roll 2 extra dice. So he was rolling 6 dice.
I think he rolled too many dice, though.
He
I think
did.
he didn't count the Incinerate.
He did not count the incinerate.
Yeah, so this is better. He still got the 3 with 2 crits. It's still a very good roll for him.
Now, Blair does still have Oscorp weaponry online, so he will be forcing him to reroll. So that's 4 blocks. He's going to make him reroll 1.
Two damage already going through, which feels great for a Sabretooth.
Mm-hmm.
3 damage going through. Wonderful. That gets Sabretooth down to 1 life left, I believe.
Yes, it does. So now Bullseye is ready and waiting. And you know what Bullseye's
If
good
Bullseye
at.
can get in range, then he is going to guarantee that daze. Turn 1, dropping the thing, that feels fantastic.
Now, Doc Ock does also have the power. Ooh, okay. Now this is an early play. Interesting. So it looks like both Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus just spent their power. I think he's playing well laid plans right now.
That's a very early play. Turn 1? That's a couple of hits.
So
Well-laid plans is, I believe, crits and wilds only, though.
But here's the thing. This is an early play, but this is going to stop Lou from scoring any of those disturbances as long as at least 1 damage is landed on each one.
Now, that's really interesting. He used Logan, and he put the disturbance far away from Mysterio.
No.
I guess that's because he assumed Logan... What?
So Blair is resolving the drops.
Yes.
Right?
And
Oh, sorry.
Blair
I think
put the disturbance far away from Mysterio. He didn't put it near his own character.
Nope.
I guess that's because Lou's going to have priority next turn. Logan moves up, hits him, and just picks it up again. So at least this way he has to make that choice. Is he going to go for the disturbance, or is he going to go for the attack?
Absolutely. And Well Laid Plans has finished off Sabretooth. So Sabretooth is dazed.
That's got to feel wonderful on turn 1.
And that's
I wouldn't know.
3 damage on Laura as well.
Oh, that was an incredible well-laid plans. I thought it was a little too early to do it, but I can't argue with the results.
Hold on. There was no damage there. I think it is. Is it hit crit and wilds, or is it just?
No, it's just crit and wilds.
In that case, there was no damage on Laura, so she doesn't drop. She doesn't drop her disturbance.
Well, that's got to feel good for Lou. At least he gets to keep that 1 point, because otherwise, I don't think he's scoring anything this turn. All of his points are contested. That's the only one he's going to get.
Now we say, my gosh, what an early well-laid plans. But how often does Doc Ock and Green Goblin have 3 power in the first round?
I'm going to say super rarely.
Extremely rare. Yeah, so yeah, it's crit and wilds. So yeah, Laura gets away with taking no damage, but Sabretooth is dazed. Logan takes 2, and that's a 2 victory point swing. But even more than that is Sabretooth is dazed, so he's not contesting the central portal anymore. So this is actually a bigger point swing than first imagined.
That's a good point. And Bullseye can walk up and take the disturbance here, and he won't even take the damage because he's got teammates close by.
Mm-hmm. And yep, there you go. And then both players look like they're going to be getting the bonus victory point from Paranoia as well.
Good call. I had forgotten about that. Now he moves up Bullseye pretty far. I think he could have held back a little bit more if he'd wanted to, but he does get himself within 4 of, it looked like Honey Badger is what he was measuring for there, so he's going to have an okay turn next turn potentially. So what are we looking at here? We've got 1 point, 2 points for Lou the Lunatic. 1, 2, 3, 4 points for Blair, if I'm getting my math correctly.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4-2 looks to be the score at the end of the first. So you don't often see Apex Predator going down that quickly. He's got 7 health, really good defense. Lu did even use a memory token to try and mitigate some of that damage. But Apex going down. Now, the scary part here is that Apex does have a lot of power, and there's a lot of things that he can do with that power.
Absolutely. And he does have priority, and he's probably going to have priority for a good chunk of the game. He's being down a model. What do you think he's going to, like, who do you activate first in this situation if you're Lu?
That's an extremely tough call. There are multiple options to go with. You've got Hulk's in a decent position of making Venom somewhat irrelevant. Apex Predator, like I said, has a lot of power. He can go wherever he wants because he's right next to a portal. And then Logan can just go and bully Mysterio if he wants to. But Blair was smart with his drop objective placement, meaning Logan is going to have to move to go back and get it if he wants it.
Yeah.
Both players down, or I guess Lou hasn't technically used a team tactics card yet if you don't count dossier or the affiliation ability. How about you?
Affiliation ability is almost like you're always playing 1 point down or 1 card down.
No, you're absolutely right. Who would you go for with first?
I would be tempted to go with Sabretooth first just because I want to do something with him before he evaporates.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's actually the best call or if that's just like in the heat of the moment thinking. It does look like he's moved Apex Predator up just a little bit. Which is probably his pounce.
Yep, he's used 3 power to do the pounce here. So what Apex Predator is doing, he throws himself into an enemy character, and then they have to do a dodge roll as if terrain had been thrown at them. And Bullseye blocks 3 of the 4 incoming damage and takes 1. That's a monstrous dodge roll.
That's just awful. That is not what you want to see. Of the people sitting there, I mean, obviously we've talked about how tanky Lizard can be. Bullseye seems like he would be the easy hit, and quite frankly, he might have been able to just daze him in one go there. He's only got 4 health, but just pulling out that roll is just... It's gotta hurt.
Well, like you said, dice are gonna dice. That could have gone one of either way. That's 4 incoming damage. It's unlikely to one shot just because Bullseye's still rolling 3 dice at it, but you'd want more than 1 damage going through.
That's absolutely right. I didn't mean to say that it was like a sure thing or a guaranteed. I'm just saying it's an option, right?
For
like
sure.
you can definitely whiff all of your dice rolls. He's only got 3, so 1's going through almost guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Still has an awful lot of power. Catch up.
So with his power,
He can still throw a character as well.
Yep, he can throw characters. He can use his spender, which gives him an extra movement. He can add dice to his next claw slash. He has lots of options here.
I don't think I spent any more energy on Bullseye personally. I feel like he was the right target to pounce into, but if I'm going to do actual attacks, I want to be trying to take out one of the people who's going to do more damage back to me. That being said, Lizard is just an awful target to try and attack into. He just, more often than not, with his 4 physical, his healing factor, his damage reduction, you just feel like you're not really getting anywhere against him.
Yeah, I agree. There's not really a good choice here, which is upsetting. It looks like he's spending a power to go through the portal.
Yep.
We must have missed the dice roll, but in this particular mission, you would roll a die, and as long as you can get either a crit hit or wild, you place wherever you want to. If you roll anything else, your opponent gets to place you.
I did see the dice roll. I didn't bring it up, but he did roll a blank, so he was able to...
Oh, so that means that Blair is placing him currently.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So I wonder if that's where Lou wanted to go.
I almost assumed that it was. I wouldn't imagine you'd need 4 characters to take on Venom. Now, that being said, Sabretooth does get the benefit of attacking Venom through the dossier, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So he would have been able to reroll everything, including skulls, at Venom.
So it's possible that is what he wanted to do, but 4-on-1 feels overkilly.
Again, it wouldn't necessarily be 4-on-1 because X-23 is contesting that objective. She can hop through if she wants to. Hulk is surprisingly quick.
Totally fair. Sabretooth has a range 2, which it looks like he will be able to do to Mysterio. Oh, he is moving for the disturbance. Gonna spend one to pick that up. He's within range of Logan, so he shouldn't take any damage. This is within 2, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so he shouldn't take any damage, but he would heal it back either way. Now, he hasn't done an attack, so we should still have one action left.
Yeah, what we might see is Sabretooth using his spender here, which does come with a range 1 place, which would put him back on top of the point. Yeah, so he is spending 2, and he is doing a Bloodthirsty Onslaught into Mysterio.
Now, do you spend your last 2 to be able to give Mysterio only 1 dice?
Do I? I think so. I think it could potentially help. It looks like
I agree.
It looks like the power has been spent.
Down to 1.
Oh, maybe it wasn't. It looked like the power wasn't reduced for going through the portal.
That might be what it was. I was gonna say I thought he went from 4 to 2, and then he went down to 2 to 1, which I wasn't sure what that last 1 was. So that's unfortunate. So Mysterio will have 5 physical defense against this if he's not able to pay for that.
Yes. Now, Apex will have a Pierce, and does roll, I believe, 7 dice on the attack. So it shouldn't be
6 dice.
6 dice. Yeah, my apologies. It would be 6 dice.
No, all good.
So not entirely bad, but again, into 5 dice isn't the greatest.
No, you definitely wish you had that 2 power to make it just 1 dice. He did get the Pierce and the Bleed, so that's good. And so far we were blocking 2, blocking 3. So he's only has 1 go through, and it's because of the Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Can they see our fingers?
I know what you mean, but that's such a weird sentence.
Oh, I just realized, like, we might be hinting at things that they could do accidentally.
No, I don't think they can.
Here's hoping.
And then this is the range 1 place that then puts him back in range of the objective.
So all in all, I feel like Lou did a pretty good turn there. The dice just didn't help him as much as he would have liked. I mean, he could have done more damage to Bullseye. In retrospect, it'd be nice to have the power to attack Mysterio, but if he had done more damage to Bullseye or dazed him, we'd be singing a different tune on that. So there's no way of knowing how that would have worked out. I don't know. I feel like the turn was good. The dice were bad. How do you feel about that?
I think the turn was just fine. I think Sabretooth definitely needed to go first because he was basically in the middle of Death Alley. 4 characters staring him down, both in all of them in double tap range. Sabretooth needed to go. And I think even though he may not have got the role he wanted from the portal, getting himself out of that hellish situation, picking up an objective, and remaining relevant on the map, I think was very well executed overall. Obviously, it could have been better. Everything could always be better, right? But I don't think it was a bad play.
No, I would agree with that. I think it didn't work out the way he wanted to, but I think it was the right thing to try.
And it looks like Mysterio is rolling into Logan here.
My apologies, just
no, not a
dealing
problem.
with something on my other screen.
No, you're fine. So Blair has forced the Oscorp weaponry attack into Logan. So Logan will be taking a damage here, and which, as long as the players are remembering, will trigger Get Out of My Head. Players
that's interesting because Get Out of My Head will deal damage to Sabretooth, correct? It's a bad thing for Logan.
Correct. So when the first time Logan is targeted by a mystic attack, I think it's every allied character within 3 takes a damage.
Other allied characters within 3 suffer 1 damage. Characters that suffered this damage do gain power. It does look like Sabretooth has taken a damage.
And he does gain a power as well.
Does gain a power, so I did remember that. And that was the hypnotic gas attack, I have to assume, that was able to move the Logan after dealing the damage.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, Logan has a range... I wish we could change. There's no way Logan's within range 3, right? Because he
No.
does have a range 3 attack with a place as well, just like Sabretooth.
I think Blair was just measuring that. I think
Okay.
he is now intentionally out of range. So it's a double-edged sword there. Mysterio could have placed him in range 3 to be able to activate tricks and traps, but I don't think you want to be within range 3 of a Logan.
Tricks and Traps is 3 power, and currently Mysterio only has 2, so you definitely don't want to be within 3 when you don't even get the benefit from it.
Well, he just spent the power. I think he's doing curtain call.
I am just playing from behind. I apologize. Oh, that is not a good roll for Blair.
Nope. And he
And
has already used
not
all his
much
corp
of a better one
weaponry,
for-
which is once per turn. And I believe Mysterio gains power when he rolls. Is it a blank? No.
I think...
No, not at all. He gained a power back. I'm not sure. I must be missing something here.
No, he does gain a power back from something. I'm sure he does. I'm positive he does. One blank. Yes, it is a blank. It's the Master of Illusions.
There we go. Yep. So he gains a power back. Yeah. So Logan was definitely placed out of range 3. So there is no double clap back into Mysterio, which is a necessary precaution.
Yeah, absolutely. And Logan does have enough power that he could make him only have 1 defense dice, especially with, no matter the cost, he can even do his larger attack. Although, is it worth it? It's only 1 extra die, so it's probably not worth it to... Oh, sorry, looking at the wrong card. It is 2 extra die to do Tornado Claw versus the X-Slash. Alright, we got Hulk going. Looking like he's going to go on top of the building. Nope. Over to the portal. Will we see the building get thrown at Venom?
From this position, I would be surprised if he didn't.
I'm hoping he does.
Just checking in with the chat here. Sabretooth only having healing factor 1 is going to be felt. Yeah, absolutely. Like he's a tough character, and I think healing factor 1 is good. I think if he was healing factor 2, he'd be quite strong. I wouldn't necessarily say he would make him too strong, but it would make him quite strong. David says, show him your fingers. All my digits.
Yeah, we are throwing the building, it looks like. And signaling that, at least.
Absolutely. So let's see if Venom's as good at dodging stuff like Bullseye is.
He is not. He is going to eat every piece of that.
It's 4 damage into Venom. That's precisely, I think, what Lou was looking to see. And now he does have an extra attack action because there was he did move to get into position. I'm not sure if he was in Gamma Leap range, but
I don't know that he was, but I'm not...
we'll have to assume he wasn't.
Yeah. Because he definitely had 6 power. He definitely had the ability. He could have spent that and still had some left over. Oh, he's spending 4 of his energy.
This might be a Hulk smash.
So this is a Hulk smash.
Nice. Hulk smash. 8 dice physical with a stagger involved.
Venom doesn't like it. He's got 1 crit.
Oh!
Ooh, he's only blocking 1, but he's only dealing 2 damage. That is a lot of blanks on Lunatic's side.
Now, the Wild does trigger the stagger and the throw, so kind of a...
Only 1 damage is getting through, and only 1 damage will get through from the throw. So unfortunately, we will be able to see so many snacks, and Venom attack back if he wants to.
It would resolve after the throw. I believe that Venom should still be in range 3 after this throw.
It depends on if he wants to deal the damage to Venom, or if he wants to get him out of the way.
It's looking like the latter.
Looks like
currently.
He just wants to get rid of him.
Yeah.
You just go away.
Get out of here, Venom. I don't care if you go hungry. I'm curious to see. It looks like it might be out of range 3. I'm curious to see.
Oh, he
He's
is going for the damage.
just going for the damage, just clipping the car on the way through. And the players are probably taking their time just to deliberate things and make sure that everything is done correctly.
Yep, absolutely.
So Venom takes the damage. And
Now,
Venom did not so many snacks on his turn. Instead, he shook the stagger and is now looking like he is doing a We Are Venom. I think he might just be afraid of giving Hulk power, which is a strong thing to be scared of.
now, do you think he is attacking Hulk back right now, or is he going after
He's
Laura or X-23?
he's going after X-23 here.
Okay. I think that's the right call. Hulk's already gone, and you're right. You don't want to give him power, especially with only a one model against him. What was that? Ooh.
That's 4 damage onto Laura. That should be 4 health healed off of Venom. Yeah.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
You wish he could have just finished that Venom off.
I think he might be doing it again. Now you see this. Now you see this is intriguing here. I think they might be discussing the timing window for Gabby.
Well, he can't do it again because he did have the stagger.
No, that's good call. Good call. I forgot about that. Now, why is
Which
Laura?
makes it even more interesting. Why didn't he attack on Hulk's turn? But again, just giving him power, I guess.
Okay, so it looks like Venom threw X-23 into Hulk, which has dazed X-23 and has done 2 points of damage to Hulk.
Blair's not taking any prisoners. He's doing a lot of damage to Lou, unfortunately.
He absolutely is. There's nothing more disheartening than putting Venom almost at death and then have him come back to having 5 health remaining.
Yeah. But that's why people bring Venom, because he can do those kind of big plays where he can just take a ton of damage, heal it all back, and still be looking in your face like, what up?
Yep. And the way that order of operations has been played out has been really, really handled by Blair, because now that X-23 is dazed, there is no one on this side of the board to activate to pick up that disturbance.
That was a good call, and that's definitely going to hurt him a little bit. Now, he can bring the Honey Badger, and Venom can't attack back, and Lou will have priority next turn, so he can bring Honey Badger up, and that will effectively give Venom an Incinerate. But that is all he can do with Honey Badger. He'll get 1 attack in, but he can't pick up, and he can't contest the Dark Portal. Although Hulk is already contesting it, so Venom's not going to get that point.
It'll be contested, but Blair does still have 4 characters left to go to lose 1. Well, sorry, characters that can interact with objectives.
Now, he moved Honey Badger up. I would have moved her over a little bit more. She is in danger range from Bullseye, who can just guarantee that damage going through. And it looks like she's going to attack Venom. Dice are not being kind to Lou today, unfortunately.
Still squeaks the damage through.
Which would have been the one to daze Venom, which has got to feel bad.
Didn't help the Venom was so hungry.
Yeah, no doubt. Venom's always a little hungry. Always up for a snack. David is saying, gross, that Venom.
Mm-hmm.
He's not wrong. He's a very impressive model. He's a very cool model. He's one of the first ones I got, and I really like the model, even though he's a bit more static than some of the ones we're getting recently. I really like the model, and I really like the card. I don't play him as often as I should, but every time he's on the other side of the table, you have to fear and respect him.
There are, just like we were just touching on, there are those moments where you can almost kill him. You can almost get him off of the table, and then he just heals it all back. It's it can be very disheartening. And as you called,
so Bullseye is going to have a double tap into into Honey Badger, And that's actually a good roll for him. That's 3 hits so far. It's 3 hits going into her. And the dice continue to be mean to Lou. He only gets 1 block, so she's going to take 2, and Bullseye doesn't even have to pay the power for it.
It's true. At
Does Honey Badger have a reroll?
No, Honey Badger does not have a reroll. X23 has one though.
That's what I thought. I knew X23 did. What was that reroll from, do you think?
Oscorp weaponry.
Oh, rude.
So instead of Lou blocking 1 and taking 2, Honey Badger has now taken 3.
He's doing it again, and he's taking 3 more, or at least dealing 3 more. He's used a memory token, so he's getting more dice. That's good. He's got 2 crits. Sorry, I'm showing a little bit of bias. Lou is on our team, so my apologies.
No, that's okay.
So he's gotten 2 crits, and he can't Oscorp weaponry those, so he is going to block 2 of the 3. Laura takes 1 more.
That was an exceptional Bullseye turn. I feel like when you play Bullseye, you're guaranteed to get the 1 damage, so anything else is really nice. But putting
Yeah.
Honey Badger on 1 health left with bleed is effectively stagger. It doesn't necessarily matter as much with healing factor, but Honey Badger is already a relatively frail piece, so being as low as she is going to put a lot of pressure on Lou at the beginning of the next activation.
Now, bleed and healing factor do both happen at the end of the turn. You can order those so that you can heal up that 1 last point, or to go to 2 points, and then take the bleed to go back to where you were. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Excellent.
So Lou just has Logan left to go versus Blair's Doc Ock, Goblin, and Lizard, who basically have free reign of wherever they want to be.
Yeah. Now, I don't think Goblin has range on Apex currently. I could be wrong on that. So they're all going to have to move before they get an attack in. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. He's got good control of the middle of the board. He's kind of okay spreading out at this point.
Oh, he absolutely is. He overloaded the middle of the board and really punished Apex Predator for being kind of caught out on his own. So now he can divide and conquer.
Do you pass at this point if you're Lou the Lunatic? Your
Uh,
Wolverine is nicely out of danger's way. Kind of force your opponent to play a couple of these guys in the middle.
I do. I do actually. The only thing that could have necessarily gone awry would have been Lizard, because Lizard has a throw, both of size 3. Yeah, so Lizard, no, he doesn't have the power for it.
I will point out we did just see a tricks and traps go off, and none of the dice were rolled, so Lou got lucky on that. Logan moved up.
No, that's true. I definitely think Lou could have utilized his pass a couple more times. So for our newer viewers, if you have fewer models on the table than your opponent does, or fewer activations remaining, you can always pass. So so in this case, Blair has 3 characters that he has left to go. Lou only has the 1. Lou could have just chosen to pass, which effectively means he's letting his opponent go again until such a time as they have equal activations.
Okay, so Lou has tried to use the portal. He rolled a skull, and his Blair is placing him, and he's placing him within double tap range, right in the middle of Lizard, Green Goblin, and Dr. Octopus. This is just going to be a brutal turn for Lou, unfortunately, and he's got no models left. He can do nothing about this, I don't think. Sacrifice, he's got exceptional healing, so that's good. So maybe he can, if there's a really big hit coming his way, he can deal with that. But this is just a brutal turn of events.
Now, I don't want to, just in case they're watching, I don't want to say anything until after dice have been rolled. Okay, so I'm.
Is this? I think he's attacking. He's got 3 Goblin, maybe. No,
I think he's attacking Bullseye.
Oh. Okay. That's a choice. He does get 5, so that's good. And with both of his attacks, he has Pierce? Yeah, so he does get a Pierce through. Although Blair is blocking 4 of it so far. That Blair's dice are showing up for this game.
Hmm.
He did manage to daze Bullseye.
So we seem to be missing something. Blair seems to be
Yeah,
rolling 4 blocks, Lou's doing 5, and then the Pierce. By my math, that's only 2 damage going through.
yeah, and Bullseye only had 1 damage on him, did he not?
He did, yeah.
That's
Um,
interesting.
yeah. So the point that I was going to make wasn't going to be him. Uh, so you can interact with multiple objectives, but you can only interact with the same objective once. So because he teleported from the bottom portal, I thought the play would have been to interact with the middle portal and then put yourself out of dodge. So even if you fail the roll, you're still being placed in a position that isn't in double tap range of all of those characters, just like you were mentioning earlier. So I thought that that's where he was going to be going. Instead, he chose to basically get rid of Bullseye. He picked up the disturbance, which does um, cost him a health.
Now, in fairness, he does still have the energy. He could have still done it after dazing Bullseye.
No, because before you interact with the portal, you have to drop all objectives.
True, but he could have dazed Bullseye. Like, he hasn't picked up the objective yet.
Oh, that's true. He
Right?
had.
They're just placing it right now. Now, I think he's going to, if he can. But he could use that turn, daze Bullseye, get out of dodge. That would be making the best of a bad situation. That's a very good play and well worth bringing up, David. Still don't really know how the Bullseye dazed though.
Yeah, we must be missing something.
So he rolled the 1 dice and he got. Oh no, he's rolling 1 dice. So he is getting out of dodge.
Okay.
It is a blank though, so I do believe that means Lou is going to get to place him. If you're a Lou, which side do you put him on? Sorry, Blair. If you're Blair, which side do you put him on?
If I'm Blair, I probably put him back down towards Mysterio, as close as possible to Goblin, so that I can
And
double tap him. And
that seems to be exactly what is happening.
that's exactly where I put him. So Goblin gets to get his ideal turn of just not moving and throwing bombs at someone.
Now, Mysterio doesn't have the power to do this, but if Wolverine had come out of that portal, could he have done a tricks and traps on him?
Yep.
Does that count as a placement?
Yep. Absolutely does.
At least that's one thing going Lou's way.
The rest of this turn is going to be pretty darn huge for Blair.
Absolutely. Do you even spend any energy dazing Honey Badger? I think you just leave her, right?
Um, yeah, I think you do.
It's always nice to daze a model at the beginning of the round instead of at the end of the round. Yeah, so we're going to go for the Goblin, whatever the attack is. The bombs.
No, he actually spent
Pumpkin
power.
bombs.
I think he's going to be doing Night of the Goblin, or he's doing hit and run. I don't know. I didn't see how much power was used there.
Well, Night of the Goblin is a range 3, and he's got the range 4 stick out. So
Okay, he spent 2 power. It's a hit and run.
okay.
Oof.
Got 4 hits, and Lou is not blocking anything. This is unfortunate to watch.
Not enough
Wolverine is down to 1 life.
and not enough to daze him just yet. Now the question is, where does Goblin see himself going?
I mean, for me, I personally would move towards that dark portal on the right. Well, sorry, which way is it for you? On the bottom.
Yeah, I'm viewing top down with each player on their respective side.
Gotcha. Nobody can see my camera, so I'm just moving all over the place. He's moving to be within range 4 of Sabretooth, it looks like. Maybe he just wants to try and knock Sabretooth out?
Smart. Sabretooth is holding a disturbance.
This is going to be an energy attack. Sabretooth is weaker to that.
Mm-hmm.
And, another big roll.
This Goblin's OP.
I was going to make a comment at the beginning when we were talking about dice and TTS about how blue usually is worse off than red, but blue is on fire tonight.
Yeah, this
I
we're making Goblin look a little bit OP right now. That
yeah.
five
The,
5 damage? Oh, he already had one on him. Right. Never mind. Yeah, so 4 damage going through and the incinerate. Um, 4 damage went through, so he would have had two. So he didn't have enough for exceptional healing. I believe exceptional healing requires three. So that the literal most unfortunate of events right there for Sabretooth.
Now, what do you think he spent that 2 power for on if he didn't do hit and run?
What do you,
Oh no, that's not true. He did move. My apologies.
yeah,
He did move. It was
he
just he only moved like 1 inch.
no, he used Logan as a hit and run leapfrog to be able to get at Apex Predator.
And now we got Doctor Octopus moving up, and
Hmm.
he is using the portal, and of course he gets it. Does not a hit is a. He gets to choose where he's going, and he's. Where's Blair going? He's going over to finish off Sabretooth or Wolverine. Probably Sabretooth, I would assume.
Yeah. Either way, you could probably get a daze on both of them because Doc Ock can
Oh,
throw them. Could Doc Ock?
Lou's dice finally show up, but he rolled too many. Let's see if he can get it a second time. Oh, he does. That's got to feel good for Lou. Dice finally showing up when they need to.
And a second attack by this. Oh no, actually, I don't think he would get a second attack because he did
I don't
move
think
to
he
get
can
on
do a
there.
second attack.
Yeah.
So he did try to use the portal, it looks like, and now Lou gets to place him where he wants to.
Where would you put him?
I mean, it'd be awfully tempting to put him over there with your Hulk looking down at him, but yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't have another attack yet. We know Lou's going to have priority. I think I put him over with Venom. Worst case scenario, you can throw Doc Ock into Venom, do an attack. It's not the worst situation. Putting him in the center does potentially. Well, if you put him in the center, he's just going to teleport back because Blair wants to be on either of the side points. He doesn't want to be in the middle, and he's got the power to use the portal. So putting him in the middle doesn't really do much. Unfortunately, that does seem to be where Lou is putting him. How
Uh,
about you? Do you agree with that assessment?
I I don't think he goes at the top there because if he goes at the top, it's effectively giving him the point. I think the middle is the smartest. Just because Blair already controls the middle, so Doc Ock going there doesn't do anything. If you put him at the top there, he's now contesting the portal, which gives the point to Blair because only Hulk is there controlling it or contesting. Sorry.
That's fair.
Corey says, "What is with that goblin?" I know, right? Like this kid, Blair is making Goblin look really good.
My Goblin has never been that good.
I've had maybe one good roll with Goblin.
Ever. Lizard not taking any chances with the portal, just walking over where he wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
And he does have a range 3 tail whip, so he should be able to knock out this Sabretooth if that's what he wants to do. Rolling 4 dice, that is what he's doing. He is doing tail whip. Excuse me. Only 2 hits.
That's
And the Venom... No, he must be hitting the Logan, otherwise... No,
no.
he
I
did the
think
same problem
I
again.
think
It
they
is
did
the
the same thing.
incinerated Sabretooth.
Yep.
Blocking 1, that will KO Sabretooth if that is in fact the target.
I do believe that that is correct. And he had 1 health left on him, so he couldn't even have used exceptional healing. Series of unfortunate events right there for Sabretooth, and he is now out. So a 1 model disadvantage has now, sorry, a 1 model advantage for Blair has now become a 2 model advantage. And that was a 13 health worth of characters. 13 health worth of character just gone.
With healing factor, like he should be able to survive some hits, but I've got to say, like I think Blair is outplaying him just a little bit, but is out dicing him by a lot.
The dice are playing a part, but at the exact same time, Blair clearly had a game plan going into this, and he responded well to what was on the table. Uh, Include like order of operations and how everything was happening. Like he waited to see Logan's move before he moved up Mysterio. He overloaded the middle to put that pressure onto Apex and just hasn't taken his foot off the gas. So the dice are playing a part, but Blair is playing. He's playing his roster very well. He's playing to his win condition. which is to just bully the crap out of Lou.
Now it is only going to be. Is that 2 points to 0? That's still a very low scoring game.
Blair gets 3. He
Oh right,
gets
because the lizard gets
yep.
that extra 1 point.
He had the central. He had the central. He had the lizard's disturbance plus the bonus for being near Mysterio, and there were 0 points scored for Lou. So 7-2 going into 3. Okay, so Dan, you're in this position. You're Weapon X. What's your out? How do you get back
Ooh.
into this?
I am not as familiar with Weapon X as you are. You got a fully loaded Wolverine. Your Hulk has not got as much power as you want, but he's not bad. I mean, it's very tempting to want to try and keep Honey Badger alive and kill Venom while he's got the incinerated from Honey Badger. But I think your Wolverine is going to be more powerful and impactful. So I might try to be cute and use Wolverine, attack Mysterio, place on the far side of him, and then beam him and Lizard. You can pick up the disturbance in the process there. You're gonna... Oh, no, you can't, because that will KO him, so you cannot pick up the disturbance. That won't KO him, sorry, it'll daze him.
We knew. I think we knew what you meant.
Fair enough, just if new people are listening or other people are listening. Logan... It's a rough place for Lou to be in, to be perfectly honest.
This is a back up against the wall moments. He needs his pieces to start performing a little bit more above average.
I think Logan is the right call because he will daze, unfortunately, before he gets to go. And if nothing else, even if he can't put out a ton of damage, he will get that healing factor too. Yeah, it looks like he's going with Logan. Attacking... No, what's he doing?
Yeah, he spent 3 power. It looks like he's doing a what I do isn't very nice, which is an X/action followed by a throw, and I think he's going into Lizard here. Oh.
He does get the reroll because he's nowhere near his team, and it doesn't help.
Not at all.
He does get a pierce, but he's got too many blocks on the other side for it to matter.
The worth noting that the throw does still happen. So, yeah, if the target character size 3 or less, the character may throw the target small. So he gets to throw Lizard at least.
And he does give Lizard a bleed. Probably won't matter all that much, but worth remembering. Now, is he throwing him over here so that he can do a Tornado Claw? Or is he just trying to hurt Mysterio?
Maybe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Now this is an interesting interaction here. So, when you are throwing a character, you ignore yourself for all rules purposes. And then if the model cannot come to a legal place, then you would move them back along the movement tool until they hit until a legal position. So I think what's happening here is I think Logan is throwing into Mysterio, ignoring himself. The collision will happen, but Lizard has to stay on the opposite side of Logan. I think that's what's happening.
It looked like that's what was going on, but now it looks like he's just going to throw Lizard to the side and hit Mysterio just off to the side there. I will say the interaction you just described happens to me in real life, and it looked ridiculous. But it was one of those things where I'm like, that's how that works? I want to say it was actually Greg who did it. I could be wrong on that.
It's a very niche interaction. It doesn't come up too often. But in this particular case, it would have worked. And actually, I think that it works out better this way for Lou than the alternate because he gets to place off of this throw. It looks like he's actually dodging Mysterio altogether. He gets to place off of his throw.
He's not hitting Mysterio, which is much worse for him. That's not what he wants to be doing. That's better. Assuming that they're counting that as a collision, that's the better way to go. There's definitely a room, or at least it really looks like there's room there. Sorry, if they can see my finger, I'm just annoying them. It definitely looks like there's room there that he could throw and hit Mysterio. And he is rolling dice, so we have to assume that's what's going on. Mysterio does use his Mystic defense for rolling against dodges, so that's why he gets to roll so many dice. He does block 2 of it.
Which means he'll take 2 because Lizard is a size 3 boy. And now the moment that every Logan player has been waiting for. I'm pretty sure we're tornado clawing right now.
Sure looks like it. And he's actually getting some decent rolls here, so that's fantastic to see for him. 4 hits into, unfortunately, 3 blocks. He does get the pierce, so that helps.
And he is currently re-rolling.
Didn't help. So that should be 2 going through.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, 5 dice, so that's got to be Mysterio that he attacked first?
No, you'd attack Lizard first. Whoever you attack last with Tornado Claw is who you place off of.
Sure, but Lizard can't roll 5 dice in defense. Oh, except it's a critical, so yes, he can. My bad. Good thing you brought me on here so you could teach me about how to play the game.
It only makes sense for Mysterio to be... Ooh, good sacrifice play. It only made sense for Mysterio to be the last target so he can place off of the objective again. But that plan is getting shut down with the sacrifice play, so Lizard will be eating both of the Tornado Claw attacks.
Oh, that's good though. He gets 5 hits with a pierce and a bleed into 3 blocks.
So he's doing 3 points of damage here. 2 points of damage because of the thick hide.
That's right, I did forget about thick hide. So Lizard's going to survive this, it looks like, and that's not good for Wolverine.
No, it is not. But as you discussed earlier, he was the first, he had to go. He only had 1 health left. He needed to go to make sure that he got healing factor online. And he can't interact with that. Well, I guess he could. He could interact with that disturbance.
Real bad plan. So what we're talking about is, with Paranoia Pummel's Populace, when a character picks up a disturbance, if there's not another allied character within 2 of it, it suffers 1 damage. Logan is on his last damage, so if he does pick that up, he's essentially dazing himself. Looks like he's trying to get out of dodge, and he makes it.
Perfect. Yep.
It's nice to see at least some of the dice showing up and helping him out so that he can try and get a game in here. Unfortunately, the first 2 turns were very rough for him. And now he is able to pick up the disturbance because he does have friends around.
Yep.
So that's not a bad play at all. That's actually really good.
That worked out.
Would have loved to have seen a dazed Lizard, but
the sacrifice play was really, really good. And this is what I was talking about earlier about Blair's game plan. Lethal Protector obviously isn't doing a whole lot because Venom's off on his own. So that sacrifice play to keep Mysterio alive onto a character that is designed to take it in Lizard was fantastic. Unfortunate that he didn't take nearly as much damage as he probably should have.
Now we've got a 7 dice. This has got to be Venom attacking somebody, right?
7 dice yet would probably be a We Are Venom again. Only 3 defense dice rolled, so probably going into X23.
But of those 3, he's got 3 criticals. So that's going to protect him entirely. No damage going through, which means no healing is going through.
Very important.
I don't know who was being attacked, though. There's a lot of 3 physical defenses over there. We know he didn't attack Hulk or Logan, so it's got to be one of the sisters.
My instinct says it would go into would probably go into Honey Badger.
Will that get rid of the Incinerate, or does he keep it because she's still technically there?
No,
Incinerate, I mean Ankle Biter.
Oh, superpower is the superpower wouldn't be active because the character would be dazed.
Fantastic. He rolled absolutely no hits.
I was wrong. It went on to Laura.
But it doesn't matter. He got no hits with that roll. So finally, Blair is feeling a little bit of what Lou's been feeling this entire game.
This could be the foothold. This could be the what he needed to kind of get back into the game.
Yeah. Well, that's 2 attacks. So all he can do at this point is go through the dark portal, and he doesn't. He's just going to stay there and take some hits. You're almost forced to go with Honey Badger at this point because with Bullseye sitting over there, like she's a dazed character guaranteed.
I'm not sure I entirely agree with that actually.
I'm not saying it's a good play, but I'm just saying like she's gonna just disappear.
Yeah, but one of the reasons that you take Honey Badger is to activate Ankle Biter, so that you have the negative dice there, and she doesn't benefit from it herself. So her going just allows her to trigger her healing factor. I'm more than happy to be proved wrong, but I feel like it would be better to activate someone who benefits from the Ankle Biter to go into Venom rather than activating her herself.
This is a 5 dice attack, so it could be either Honey Badger or X23. Although Venom did roll 4 dice, so I'm assuming that means that this is Honey Badger going.
Yeah,
Yep.
Honey Badger did spend power. I'm pretty sure this was her build, her spender here.
Hamstring,
Hamstring, yeah. Rolls the wild, measuring a medium move, which is the elusive trigger.
which is good for him. He does get out of the way. Yep, gains slow and bleed. And then he can attack again. Or oh, but he looks like we're gonna get so many snacks into Honey Badger, and that's not what you want.
And this is another reason that I didn't think that Honey Badger was the correct play, because all Venom needs to do is do 1 point of damage to Honey Badger, and Honey Badger's going to go down. And
Yep.
someone just
So you're
spent.
spending a memory token? Wait,
Yeah, looks like a memory
he
token.
should he not have 1 extra dice?
I think we played Sacrifice.
I thought he already did sacrifice.
No, Lou hasn't used Sacrifice yet. I think he just used Sacrifice onto Hulk,
Oh, I see.
which is smart, very very smart, because Honey Badger being alive is the most important part right here.
Yeah.
That would explain why he was rolling 4 defense dice, because Hulk has 4 physical defense.
And now he can attack Venom again. Venom doesn't have the power to do it unless he does 2 damage exactly. If he does 3, he dazes him. If he does 1, he's fine.
You can only use so many snacks once per turn.
Well, then never mind. 3 goes. So only 1 is going through, it looks like. Bullseye does not have a target. Bullseye's sad.
So again, I'll put my hand up and say I'm happy to be wrong. It looks like Honey Badger did. Lou had a contingency plan for it. Although Sacrifice hasn't been flipped over, so I don't know if Venom must have attacked Honey Badger.
Yeah, there's no way.
And Mysterio is going through the portal. Rutrow.
When you go through the portal, you have to be placed within 1, correct?
Correct.
So at this point, nobody else can go through that portal.
Because there is no legal placement.
Can come through that portal.
Correct.
Now we see Mysterio coming through that portal, but he looked like he was just measuring off of Venom. What are we expecting to come from this?
Not entirely sure.
Fair enough. Oh, he's probably going to hypnotic gas, move Laura Kinney, and then hopefully have Laura Kinney not be within range of Venom. Maybe that's what he's measuring for, to see if he can get him out of the way. Looks like we rolled too many dice, maybe? Mystic on Laura is only 2, correct. That's not good. So Lou's going to take 3 damage on Laura.
I think this was a honey badger attack. Yeah, honey badger's now
Interesting.
dazed.
Okay.
I agree
I'm
with
even
that.
more confused
Let's
why
see.
he measured from X23.
However, that's smart. Get rid of the ankle biter. Venom's a little bit more safe right now.
Absolutely. And so now we see the hypnotic gas into Laura, maybe?
Looks
2
like it.
dice. Yeah. Oh, 3 dice? No. Yeah, there we go. It goes back to 2. Oh, 4 damage coming in. And that will trigger the hypnotic gas. We can move Laura Kinney away.
Let's see if Luke remembers his window.
Now, Laura does have 1 reroll, so she did manage to get a block.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he can't hear you. What window are you referring to?
Exceptional healing.
And Mysterio's moving away again.
Came, saw, conquered. Yeah, I personally think that would have been a really good exceptional healing window. Logan's already gone. Logan's on the other side of the map. Or sorry, Logan's up there. Laura is currently going to be the lifeline of this team with the affiliation ability. And I felt like that would have going to be a good window for exceptional healing because now even with bleed, she's still going to only be healing 1. So she's going to be in a predicament. I feel like it would have been better to mitigate more damage earlier than wait until later.
That's fair.
And the hypnotic
Now,
gas
it would
obviously
deal the exceptional. Yeah, exceptional healing does let 1 damage go through, right? It turns whatever you were going to take into 1 damage, so the hypnotic gas would still happen and it would still move her.
correct. So now it's Hulk and X-23 versus the world. I have to say, I don't get to. We have a couple of Spider Foes players in our group in the Lovable Misfits,
Yep.
and Vince has also been taking them to a couple of tournaments. It's nice to see Spider Foes on the table a little bit more often because it's been a hot minute without seeing them.
Absolutely. And I was thinking we've been hearing about them more and more recently. I was wondering if that was because of the Rhino, who I'm just absolutely in love with in the Criminal Syndicate. But we don't see him on the table. I do believe he was part of his 10, though, was he not?
Rhino was part of both players' 10, if memory serves, and I feel like it's a perfect play for the wider extract play. So for your hammers and your cubes, when there is a benefit to making your opponent drop more than one objective, particularly with this as a robbery. But also in this mission, because of the portals, having his mobility is less useful.
Yeah, I don't disagree that this wasn't necessarily the right mission for him, but I'm just wondering if maybe that's part of why we're seeing the Spider Foes more and more recently.
Yeah, you did say that, and for some reason I just wasn't paying attention.
So it looks like maybe Hulk is trying to go through the portal, and unfortunately, again, Blair is going to get to choose where Hulk ends up.
That said, there is no bad choice for Hulk right now.
That's very fair.
I think this is a hard.
Had Lou gotten that correct or had rolled properly, where would you want to put your Hulk?
just
Which of the 2 are you going after?
just in case, our players are watching. I will wait until the place is made before I say.
That's fair.
So
You're
like the
cheaters.
no, I just think I don't know if they're watching, but I just
No, I get.
for the sake of competitive integrity, I think this is exactly where I would place Hulk if I were Blair. Again, in double tap range of Green Goblin, out of the way. If I was Lou, I would have absolutely wanted to go in the middle. There's a There's a disturbance right there. There's an injured character in Bullseye right there. There's a Doc Ock there. I would go there. I would probably punch, and then at some point maybe Gamma Leap back up to the top. So now the question
So you
is,
had
what does
five
Hulk do?
power at the beginning of the turn for the Hulk.
Yep, spends
I
one to go
wouldn't
through
have
the portal.
hated, yeah, wouldn't have hated spending one coming through this portal. Does Hulk have train feature or an enemy character? You could have just picked Lizard up, thrown him, or sorry, picked Mysterio up, thrown him at Lizard. You get a guaranteed days on Mysterio, who drops an objective. Possibly a days on Lizard, although I don't like the odds of that as much. The ability to attack Lizard, or just go through the portal to back where you want to go, and then attack Bullseye after that.
Well, he hasn't done any of his actions yet, has he?
No, he has not. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's got 2 full attacks and a throw.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm just reiterating. There's no bad place to put him. Like both locations, you've got some
Yep.
good options.
Absolutely
Four,
right.
five, six.
I think Blair made the right choice in putting him towards the bottom, though. Whoever he is punching is taking dice damage. Oh boy.
I think he's doing the thunderclap. I think he's doing
Oh,
the beam.
interesting.
Although that doesn't make sense. Well, how is he getting 6 dice? Because he doesn't have 4 damage yet, so he doesn't get the extra dice from that. Hulk smash is 8 dice, and strike is 7 dice. Where is he getting 6 from?
That's a good question.
Only 1 damage looks like it's going to go through.
That's Mysterio days.
But that's enough to take Mysterio out.
And he did spend power. Like,
point of damage.
I guess it must have been Thunderclap. But again, where is that 6th dice coming from?
The mystery to all. Oh wait. Now Hulk has a 4th point of damage, so that makes sense.
Because he picked up the
3 a second ago.
Yeah, because he just picked up the disturbance. And it looks like his secondary attack going into Lizard is gonna do 1 point of damage. Curse you, Lizard!
Okay, so this is his Hulk smash. So he's going to stagger the Lizard. And I guess he can throw him. So if he did do the 1 damage and he gets to throw, that'll daze the Lizard. So that's good. But if he did do the Thunderclap last turn, why didn't he do the damage? Like, surely he could have beamed both of them.
I don't think it was a Thunderclap. I think it was... I don't know why he wasn't...
It was a strike with 1 less dice than he should have?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
why.
I
mean, it got through. It did the damage he needed to do, and it does look like he is going to throw them out of vehicle, so he is going to daze both of them. So I don't hate that.
If he lets it through. Yeah, David, Hulk smash! It depends on if Blair lets the throw through.
Because of Indomitable?
Correct. Oh, the opposite way around. I think Lou is making the... Did he throw the truck at Lizard?
I do not understand what is happening. He just rolled 4 dice, and I don't really know why. Are we now on Lizard's turn, and Lizard threw the truck at Hulk?
Must have done. Yeah, Hulk has a check mark. I guess Lizard didn't daze. There was no opportunity to throw. That was Lizard throwing the truck at Hulk.
I I am super curious what we just saw on the Hulk's turn. That none of that makes sense to me.
Yeah, there was an extra die or a missing die on the attack into Mysterio.
He would have
Um,
only done one damage to Lizard, so his thick hide wouldn't have came into play. And then throwing him into the truck because he did get the wild should have dazed Hulk Lizard. I'm very confused.
we'll have to touch base with Lou after that. For that particular instance with the Hulk activation was a little odd.
Yeah, even Corey in the chat, what is happening?
But again, we're only seeing half of the picture. That they're obviously discussing
Absolutely.
what's happening. We can only assume what is happening. Um, I don't think it was a. I don't think it was a thunderclap. But
No, I'm not thinking it was a
either way,
thunderclap
there was
either, but
a die was added or a die was omitted.
okay, Laura Kinney is measuring up on Venom. This has got to be a claw rush because it's range 3. So she will get to advance after this, but she does not get the benefit from Ankle Biter.
Doesn't look like ankle biter is going to be entirely necessary. That is a dazed Venom.
Which is fantastic. 4 with a Pierce is very nice at this point in the game.
Now, if memory serves, I believe Venom was holding the dossier, so that should fall onto X23 right now, which is going to be really good for Lou because that's going to give him an extra 2 dice on their attacks as well as a long move. Or
The
maybe
dossier, last time I saw it, was sitting on Sacrifice on Lou's side. So I don't see it. I don't know where the token is, to be honest.
again, I think Blair was trying to put it on Venom at the start of the game, but now it doesn't seem to be anywhere.
I hope that because Sabretooth is no longer in the game, they don't assume that it just disappeared.
No, the
I
because
hope they do remember it.
yeah, the token does stay on the board. Okay, and then
Okay, so
Goblin.
we've got Goblin attacking Hulk. And it's an awful lot of dice. So this has to be Knight of the Goblin.
Absolutely.
And that is a very good hit. 7 dice. Or 7 hits.
I say none of the crits explode, thankfully.
There's going to be 7 damage going through on Hulk, though. That's not what you want to be seeing. It will make Hulk more potent, but only if he survives.
And Knight of the Goblin, if it deals damage, the target character gets poison and incinerate. Hulk is immune to poison, but he is not immune to fire. And it looks like he spent 4 for Hulk Not Puny Banner, and is able to block at least one of them. So he'll only be taking 6. Now, the ordering on this is quite important as well, because Oscorp weaponry would force Lou to Lou's reroll would happen first, and then Hulk would have, and then Blair would have his opportunity to make him reroll. He chose not to, so I'm wondering if he's probably saving the power to do it on the pumpkin bombs here.
It looks like he must have done a hit and run if he's still measuring for a potential second attack.
Yep.
Alright, for only 2 hits, that will not daze or KO Hulk, so that's fantastic. That's good. Only 1 is actually going to go through.
He is Hulk Not Puny Bannering again.
Oh, almost. Oh.
Yep.
And then he's going to Oscorp weaponry him.
Yep.
So both will go through, putting Hulk at 17 out of 20. Angry Hulk.
And then that's the order of operations happening in the correct order right there. So the way that dice are modified, so it's very particular step. It starts off with the attacker. The attacker modifies their own dice. Then the defender modifies their own dice. So this is where Hulk, not Puny Banner, gets played. Then underneath that, it's the attacker modifies the defense dice. So Hulk would get his reroll first before Blair makes Lou reroll the defense dice. So Hulk has to spend the power first, and then might not even get the benefit of the reroll dice anyway.
Oh no, are we gonna see a bullseye kill a Hulk? Is this a David and Goliath?
I'm so excited. Corey said this wouldn't be the first time Green Goblin kills a Hulk. It happened in my round 2. Ooh.
Oh, forgot that Hulk was incinerated, so he has to roll his dice again. But that's a fantastic roll. So he is going to block everything, but of course, with Bullseye, you will just push that 1 damage through no matter what. But at least that means it's going to be harder for him to completely KO the Hulk with the Bullseye. I kind of want to see it, but I'm rooting for my boy still. Oh, that's much worse. That hurts.
And he does have the power for a Hulk, not Puny Banner. It is... Needs to block 3.
And he does. Blocks all 3 of it, even with this reroll.
Oscorp weaponry. Okay, so the one
Only
damage...
one will go through.
1 damage goes through.
Now, what's happening now?
If I'm gonna guess, Pincushion was used, which has rapid fire.
Oh, I see. I forget that he has that because I never use it.
I've used it a couple of times. And
3 damage, blocking 2. That is the David and Goliath we were hoping / not hoping to see.
He doesn't have the power. Hulk no Puny Banner, I believe, is 4 power. Yep, so that is going to be an out of action Hulk. So technically, Hulk is supposed to remain...
he does stay on the board. But...
Yes. Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Hulk is supposed to stay on the board until the end of the round, but that is a single Dr. Octopus move away.
The reason that is when a character is flipped to their dazed side and then they get essentially dazed again, counts as a KO and they disappear immediately. Because Hulk doesn't have a dazed side, he does count as being dazed until the end of round and the cleanup in the round, then he gets KO'd and taken off the board. I don't know that I explained that properly, but essentially that's what happens.
No, you're absolutely right. When a character reaches the maximum number of wounds on their card, they become dazed, and then during the cleanup phase, what you take every dazed character and you flip them over. If they're already injured, they're removed. Hulk specifically says if this character would flip its stack card to the injured side, it is KO'd instead. So it would remain on the board until the end of the round. It also used to be important during a time where field dressing was a card, because then you could technically resurrect said Hulk.
I hate field dressing, and I'm so glad that it's gone.
You know, you don't miss the all you've got meta?
I really don't. All right. Sorry, we missed something there, but Dr. Octopus looks like he went through the portal and then killed Laura Kinney.
Yes.
So we are now without a leader for the Weapon X.
We have a Logan and we have a Gabby against the world.
Yeah. Whether they continue to play it or not is up to them, but I have to think that this is game at this point.
It's definitely difficult to argue anything else.
5, 6, 7. Looks like he's going to be getting 7 points, which will put him up at 14 versus Lou's 0, I believe. Oh, no, Lou has 1 point.
And I think Gabby still...
Does she still count for it?
I'm not entirely sure. I believe so. It says if there is of another allied character. So I believe that Lou will get the 2 victory points off of that. And I
Mm,
don't know
what
what's
are these?
I don't know. I think Lou may have conceded this. They might just be having a little bit of fun. I don't know what those are right now. Well, either way, if they decide to play on, then congrats to them. It looks like Blair has this really wrapped up in the bag. Losing 3 characters, including your leader and a Hulk, is pretty backbreaking for any roster. I think it was very well played.
Absolutely. Everything that Lou tried to do, and I think Lou was playing well, but just everything Lou tried to do, Blair just had an answer for, had a counter for, and unfortunately, the dice weren't helping Lou either, but I think Blair just had the better game plan going into this.
Yep, I completely agree. I think assigning Venom and Mysterio around the side and just focusing down the middle, neutering Apex early on, and then mentally that can put you on the back foot if you're not prepared for it. So Lou was probably playing quite cautiously after that. When you lose a character that quickly, it can really offset you, as we saw last week when Grimgar lost his Valkyrie nice and early.
Yeah, absolutely. Tilt is real, and you can absolutely get it in this game. And yeah, the dazing Sabretooth on turn one, like it would be hard for anybody not to take that and have that stick with you for at least a little while.
So they obviously played 19. So if you were Lou won the priority role, right? Yeah, Lou won the priority. So if you're a
Lou won the
Blair,
priority.
I know we talked about this at the beginning. Do you pick 16 or do you pick 19? Now that we've played the entire thing, do you think he made the right choice?
I absolutely think he made the right choice, and I believe I said I'm going to double down on what I said at the very beginning. Is if you have a Hulk on the other side of the table, you want as many models as you can because as strong as Hulk is, he only gets to do so much in a turn. The more models you can have to focus fire on him, the better that's going to work out for you. Now, in the middle, you saw that Blair had quite a few models. He didn't actually do that much focusing fire on the Hulk. It just so happened that Green Goblin went insane, absolutely monstered him. Just rolled a bunch of dice. All of them were crits and wilds, and just was able to do a lot of damage in just I think just one round. Like he kind of ignored Hulk for the first little bit of the game, and then when he turned it on full blast. I think that's what you want to do with a Hulk. You want to ignore him. You don't want to give him those extra dice, the extra power, until you're ready to deal with him. Now, if you can deal with him turn one, fantastic. But in this situation, I think Blair played it perfectly. Exactly what well, not exactly what I would have done necessarily, but like picking 19, going wider than your opponent, and just trying to get more attacks per turn than your opponent can. I think that's exactly what the Spider Foes want to be doing, and in this situation, we saw it pay off.
I completely agree, and it's actually kind of wild to think that all of that damage done to Hulk was done this round
Yeah,
because he was top of our screen. He was up here playing around this objective for the first couple of rounds, and then when push came to shove and Lou realized he was on the back foot, he took the initiative. He jumped through the portal. Didn't exactly get the where he needed to be, but then 2 Green Goblin activations plus Lizard throwing a couple of attacks, plus throwing a truck at him, plus Bullseye. That's all it took.
yeah. Yeah, Bullseye killing Hulk is one of those achievement unlocked moments that you're probably going to talk about for a while. That's going to have him feeling good, I'm sure. Corey's got a good point. The well laid plans turn one was spicy and a decent victory point swing. That's absolutely true. Turn one, Lou actually looked like he had a pretty decent board presence to start, and that the well laid plans knocking out 2 of his 3 objectives and killing his Sabretooth. You don't see well laid plans played that early usually, or at least I don't. But that was exactly what Blair needed to take the early lead, and he never let off the gas pedal, as you said. Like he just kept the pressure on the entire game.
Absolutely. He had the opportunity to play it because Doc Hawk and Green Goblin both swung really, really well. The reason we don't see it happening that often is because it requires both characters to spend 3 power, and very rarely does that actually happen. So we could look at that as a really good opportunity capitalized on by Blair. We could look at it from Lou's perspective of him putting Sabretooth into such a precarious and dangerous position turn one, because I believe that was Lou's first activation. No, sorry. Logan was his first activation. Then I believe Sabretooth was his second.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
But and well laid plans didn't even get the full effect. Like Laura
It got
still,
pretty good effect. It got two of the three of them and dazed a character.
and that's it. Laura was still holding an objective, so that could have been absolutely backbreaking. Uh, Luke has actually asked if we want to join in, so if you'd like to come and join us, we're gonna go and do some post game chatting. Let's go in and catch up with them.
The crisis triggers and the conditions is probably my two of the biggest things I need to work on.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Hi guys. That looked like a super fun game.
Yeah, it was really fun to see all the interactions with the spider foes and seeing what they can do. It's pretty brutal, but
it looked very brutal. I apologize, but that looked a little rough.
Yeah.
Now
the dice were just not on your side.
I think it was more than dice.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Blair played an excellent game.
that
but
being
the dice
said,
didn't help you any.
Blair, it looked like you had. Hi, also Blair. Very nice to meet you. Very well played game. It looked like you had a battle plan going into this. Obviously, you picked. I think Lou, you had priority. So Blair, you picked 19. Were you anticipating the Hulk right from the get-go?
No, I wasn't. I just spider foes. I like to play wide. I like to play it as wide as I possibly can. I was pretty sure he was going to go with. I was pretty sure he was going to go with Weapon X instead of Criminal Syndicate. I felt like they played better on like all this heavy midline stuff. But no, I didn't. I thought there was a chance, but I wasn't like banking on it by any stretch.
Kingpin for like 2 seconds, and I went nah.
and speaking on not banking on plans, it's not very often we get to see a turn one well laid plans. Now, I think Doc Ock went first, and then Goblin went. When he got his 4 power, did you immediately think like, "Yep, I'm playing well laid plans right now"?
Pretty much, because he had all 3 paranoias, or 3 of the 4 in hand.
Yeah, that's when I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and the one thing with his characters is they don't have any hops of any kind outside of Hulk. So it's if you can force him to drop it early, even if you don't get a daze, which I was fortunate to get a daze on Sabretooth, like it can really mess up their opening. So I was telling Lou, my last round was against Shadowlands Criminal Syndicate, and so he had his ninja just pick up his back hammer and hand it off to Bucky via vanishing. And so then Bucky's sitting there without even activated with a hammer in hand. Well, I played plans, forced him to drop it. Bucky had to run and pick it up and then just run back to get back into it and didn't get to attack anyone on turn 1. And then Rhino just rushed him on turn 2 and dazed him before he could even do anything. So Doc has great power gen. He can usually get the 3 power needed on the opening. Goblin is kind of like 50-50. It kind of depends on like who he's attacking. But if you can, like, yeah, it's definitely a weapon to have. But I just feel like spider foes in general play a lot better without having prio, because they don't really have no way to like grab a midline thing and get back. But they're also great at just this heavy midline stuff as well. So yeah, I felt like the crisis was definitely in my favor. I felt like.
Yeah, you laid into Sabretooth nice and early. I don't think I've never seen the kitty go down that quickly. I did actually have Lou. I had a question for you. Your Hulk activation on round 3. Now we couldn't quite follow what was going along. You took the portal from your right hand side to your left hand side, and what was the first attack? Did you thunderclap?
Yes.
Okay. Because we were a little curious. It looked like you rolled 6 dice, and we weren't sure if you were missing a dice on your strike, or if you'd rolled an extra. Thunderclap's only 5 dice, correct?
It's five. It's 5, but then I had 4 damage. So
You
it
had
went
the
up to
4
6.
damage. Okay, so we had missed something. We weren't quite following along. I just wanted some extra clarity on that one. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have done that if I paid attention to my power economy there. Probably could have done something better with the power there that I had.
What would you have done differently?
Probably a strike and a throw.
Fair enough.
Throw somebody.
Fair enough.
Like a strike would have been more than enough to probably take out Mysterio, and then I could probably throw Lizard, and then I'd be on the point by myself. Lizard would have to spend a little bit more effort to get back at me.
Now, out of curiosity, when you thunderclapped Mysterio, did you thunderclap, like, did your beam go over and hit Lizard as well? Did we just miss that?
I think that I rolled twice. I don't think it did anything to Lizard.
We were talking quite a bit. We might have just missed it. That's totally fair.
Lizard tanked a whole lot that game. Holy. Getting PTSD. Well, thanks very much for touching base with us, guys. Congratulations on your win, Blair.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had one question. I know you were saying that you're not as like a super big fan of Rhino. Do you have Rhino in your list? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, did you just not bring him because you thought that maybe he might get ignored, or?
No, it's for me. It's usually it comes down to I'm bringing Venom or I'm bringing Rhino, and I brought Venom, so I left Rhino at home. I mean, the other thing too is like Rhino's
4 threats, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I want to go wide, so like I'm not really a fan of bringing 3-4 threats, but intrusions you don't really need Rhino. Venom can hop around the map using these portals. You don't really need Rhino for his stampede. He's better on like B's and D's where he can scoot around and get from point to point. So that's why.
All right, figured they were doing their post-game rundown. We got our answers, we got our insight, which was obviously fantastic clarity. That it was in fact a thunderclap that we had just missed, and we did get some insight. As soon as Blair got the power necessary for well-laid plans, he played it, and I'm glad we got that explanation from it because it can be a nice utility piece and not just a damage piece.
Yeah, and according to Blair, this is not the first time that he's been able to pull it off on turn 1, so maybe it's something worth revisiting again, looking at again, and seeing how it lands.
Absolutely agree. And Dan, thank you so much for being here with me today. In case you missed the part of the stream where we were talking about it, Dan does have his own YouTube channel. I have posted the link below in the description. Is at Monguli Show. Please feel free to drop by and check out his content. And if it's for you, hit the like and hit the subscribe. That's it from us. We should be returning on Thursday. Thursday we'll be tuning into Corey's game as he continues on his quest in the TTS League. Don't forget to hit the like button, drop us a comment, let us know how we can improve. This is only the second time we've been doing it, so all of your feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope you guys have a great night.
Bye, everybody.